Welcome back to Chef State of Mind. As always, I'm Demetrius Brown, Chef D, whatever you want to call me. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of bacon, right? So my beautiful girlfriend got me this KitchenAid, so I told her, let's make some beignets. So what will you need? Got 3.5 cups of flour. We got half cup of milk. We got a half cup of milk, 1 egg beaten in here. Then we got a 1/8 cup of butter, then 3/4 cup of water with, by weight, 1/8 of an ounce of yeast. And then we have a 1/4 cup of sugar. We used hot water for this, and we dissolved the sugar, and then we added the yeast. So if you come in a little bit closer, we're gonna add this flour in here. Yes. We're gonna take this butter. We're gonna break that all up. Gonna break all that. You could definitely use vegetable shortening if you want to. I like the flavor of butter. I'm just being a little bit fancy over here, you know. Okay, we're gonna mix that all around. So what's the purpose of doing this? We want to break up all that butter so it's evenly dispersed into that flour. So it's like making a pie crust. You want to have flakes of butter all throughout that flour. So I'm gonna let this go for about 2.5 minutes. You do not, I repeat, do not want to melt this butter, okay? So we're gonna let this go for about 2 minutes and we'll be right back. Alright, so it's been about 2-3 minutes now. Come a little bit closer, you can see this dough, well this flour. You can see it's all broken up, so we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. Gonna drop that bowl down. So this is exactly what you want. You don't want any big pieces of butter in there, you just want it all nicely combined. Okay, so we're gonna rise the bowl back up. Gonna put this on speed 2, okay? First thing we're gonna add the milk and eggs. And all of that. Okay? And we have this yeast. How do you know if it's ready? How do you know when it's ready? It's gonna smell kind of like beer. Smell this, cameraman. Tell me what that smells like. What does that smell like? Beer? Kind of like liquor, yeah. So, I'm gonna increase that just a little bit. And we're gonna start adding this. You wanna make sure you get all that yeast. You may not need all that water there. You wanna get all that yeast in there. Let's break down that bowl a little bit. Give it a little bit of help. Run your rubber spatula all along the bottom of that bowl. You know, that's all the water I think we're gonna need. So if you're having a little bit of a problem with it mixing, just drop it down. It's real easy. Just gonna give it a little bit of a hand here. Make sure you get all that flour back in there. See the dough starting to come together a little bit. Okay, so once it's been kneading for about 5-10 minutes at the absolute most, you do not want to overwork this. Your dough should look like something like this. You see how it's starting to come in the hook and it's all in a nice ball? We're gonna shut this off. We already have a board floured. I'm gonna scoop that out. Look at that, that's exactly what you want, okay? So, on a floured board. We're gonna knead this just a little bit more. You don't want to overwork it because that's gonna make the dough tough. Okay. So, I'm gonna make this into a nice little pretty ball, just like that. We're gonna cover this with a little bit of plastic wrap, and we're gonna let that rest for at least 30 minutes. Overnight is the best. It's gonna develop the best amount of flavor, or the most amount of flavor. It's gonna develop the most amount of flavor, and it's gonna allow it to rise as much as possible. We're just gonna let this rest for 30 minutes in the warmest part of our kitchen, and we'll be right back, and we're gonna fry them. Your dough has rested for at least 30 minutes. It's gonna look something like this. You're gonna portion it out in nice manageable pieces. You're gonna flour your board. You're also gonna flour the top because this dough is very sticky, okay? I'm gonna flatten this out just a little bit. You're gonna grab your rolling pin. You want this to be a nice, even thickness all the way around, okay? Does not have to be a perfect square. It doesn't have to be circle either because we're gonna cut this. Okay. That's about the thickness we want. We want it to be about 1/8 of an inch at the thickest, because you want to make sure that it cooks all the way through. Okay. So we're gonna grab our dough cutter. I'm gonna cut those little odd ends off. See, this is why I don't worry about getting in a perfect square, because you're gonna have to cut it either way. Okay. Now that we have our square, I like to cut mine in pretty big pieces, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? So now here we have our oil. It's at between 350 and 375, okay? So look how I'm putting this in. You always want to put it away from you, okay? Because you don't want to splash yourself. You're only gonna want to put about 2 or 3 in there at a time. Let's just do 2, okay? So now, I'm gonna move those over so they have enough room to cook. Okay. You see how that's starting to bubble up? That's exactly what you want. If you do not see that, you did something wrong. Go back to the beginning. Remake your dough so that it does exactly this, okay? Look at all that air in there. See all that air? See all of that? That's exactly what you want. Beignets are different from donuts because it has a pocket of air in the middle, okay? That's the difference between a beignet and a donut. I'm gonna just move these around. These are gonna cook for at least 1.5 minutes on each side, okay? Let's see. See, that's exactly what you want. Nice and golden brown. Nice and golden. You do not want to fill this pan up all the way with oil, because you see how that's bubbling? All that's gonna end up on your eye, and you're gonna start a fire. You don't want the fire department, ambulance, police all at your house, okay? So now that this is going, we're gonna get a plate. And I like to do a mixture of cinnamon and sugar. The traditional way is with powdered sugar, okay? Well, I'm gonna show you both ways, all right? So, I'm gonna make sure these are finished cooking. Do a little bit longer on that side. Okay? So we're gonna let these finish cooking and we'll be right back. Alright, so now that we have this out of the oil, we're gonna just dust one of them with a little bit of powdered sugar. Look at that. We're gonna flip it over, we're gonna dust both sides. Alright? Then we're going to do my favorite. I'm going to do a little bit of cinnamon sugar on this one. You want to put a nice generous amount. Make sure they're just freshly out of the oil so most of that will stick, okay? So, those are beignets, folks. Let's open this up so we can see how that looks. Make sure we did it right. Yes. Look at that. Completely hollow on the inside. All that steam. Let's taste this. That's absolutely delicious. As long as you follow the recipe, follow every single step, you're going to have some nice beignets. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share the video, hit that thumbs up, and we'll be back next week for another fantastic recipe.